Hey guys, and welcome back to Smite Tactics. My name is Jaggerous, and today we are continuing our beginner deck series with the last pantheon for us to cover, and that is the Norse pantheon. Now, in terms of beginner decks, I actually think that the Norse pantheon is one of the stronger ones, along with Greek, whereas the Egyptian deck I would say is the weakest, and Chinese is okay. So in terms of having not a very big collection, I would suggest you start with Norse or Greek. And with this deck, it is kind of like a standard rush deck. The rush deck that you see a lot on the ladder doesn't contain a lot of crafted cards. I mean, there are definitely cards you can use to improve this deck, but it's viable for beginners. So let's have a quick look at the cards and we'll talk you through the deck. As you can see, we're running Odin because Freya is not a beginner leader. You start with Odin. Then we have Basckstab, which deals 3 damage to the enemy leader. This deck is all about hitting the enemy leader, a lot. Basically trying to kill them as quickly as you can. And you'll notice the cards are very cheap, and there's also lots of options for hitting them in the face. So we have Backstab, deal 3 damage to enemy leader. Then we have Cursed Warriors, deploy an additional Cursed Warrior. So this spawns 2 2/1 melee units, and Cursed Hunters spawns 2 1/1 ranged units. And these synergize really nicely with Mayhem, because Mayhem randomly deals 1 damage for every friendly on the battlefield. So in spawning these very cheaply, you can get a lot of friendlies out there. And Mayhem also counts your leader as a friendly, so, there's a lot of potential there for damage and also for clear. If you kill all of your opponent's units, then all of these shots will hit your leader in the face. We have Fire Imp, which is a 2/1. You can either use that to clear a minion or to hit your opponent in the face. We have Fate, deal 2 damage to up to 2 random enemies. This is most often used when your opponent spawned 1 unit, so then that unit will take 2 damage, and the leader will also take 2 damage, because, again, this can hit the leader. We have Gungnir's Smite, give your leader +1/+0, so we can use this to buff Odin's base attack, so that when we do hit units or their enemy leader, we'll be doing more damage. You have Surtr, which you can play to give an aura to your friendlies so that they gain +1 damage. And he's also something that's a little bit harder to remove because he's got 4 strength. Then you have Frenzy, so you have a lot of units out on the board. You get +2/+0. And you'll notice this is a blue card. However, if you do the Norse tutorials, you'll get 1 Frenzy for free. So you only have to craft 1 extra Frenzy and the Surtrs for this deck. Everything else is free. And then if the game keeps going on longer, then at least we have Thor to try and, pack a little bit of a punch. Anyway, we're going to jump into a game and showcase this deck.
The sun has risen once again.
Okay, so we're queuing into the Egyptian deck. And actually, this is a pretty nice matchup. And we've also got a pretty nice starting hand here, in that we've got a lot of units we can summon up in order to cast the Mayhem and deal a lot of damage. So I think I'll just keep a hold of all of these and we'll get into the game. So we're going first. And on this turn, we actually want to spawn some Cursed Hunters, and we're going to spawn them quite far back here so that the enemy Ra has a hard time of dealing with them. He's going to have to get closer if he wants to deal with them, and he's not going to be able to hit them this turn. We're then also going to move forward and try and close the gap between us so that when we do get the Cursed Warriors out, we have options. The good news is on the next turn we can play both the Cursed Warriors, the Cursed Imp, and the Mayhem, and actually deal a hell of a lot of damage with those cards, which is, pretty goddamn strong, to be honest. So we'll move in here. We'll summon the Cursed Warriors here and here. Then we summon the Fire Imp up here. And then we will cast Mayhem. And you'll notice that this will actually hit Ra for 6 damage. Like so. And the thing is, what we could do is attack him with the Imp, and I think we actually will do that. What we should have actually done here is spawn the Imp here, such that we could move it around the corner and surround him. But as we can't surround him, we're just going to look to kind of damage him here, and do as much damage as we can. We'll also start moving our archers closer, such that we can start closing the gap. And you'll see he's only on 9 health, and that's after 1 turn. I'd imagine he'll go ranged and take out this Cursed Warrior, but then we have another Cursed Warrior that he has to deal with, so all in all, I'd say this is a pretty nice position for us to be in. Unfortunately, you can see he's used the taunt there to try and limit what we can do on this turn. But we've just drawn Frenzy, which is going to give all of our units +2 damage this turn. Can we get these range units in range, though? That is the question. I can get it close enough to hit this one. I think we're going to have to do it, right? Because we can always summon the Imp and wait. This is the question. Do we stall it out? I actually think we probably stall it out here, right? We can clear his unit, so we'll do that. We can take out this, and we can clear that with Odin. and then move this unit in. And we're actually going to not play anything, you guys, this turn, and end. Because on the next turn, we can play the Frenzy and the Imp. So that'll give us 4 damage on the Imp, plus 3 damage on Odin is 7. Plus, if we can get in range with one of these Cursed Hunters, that will actually win us the game. And, I mean, ideally there, we actually should have, like I said, we should have put the Imp in the corner such that he was surrounded. But as things currently stand, this is looking pretty disappointing. And there you go, that is the game. And that's the power of Rush, if you get the cards that you need. You saw there we had a very strong starting hand. I'll jump into another game and hopefully show you guys the deck once again, just so we get a little bit of a longer experience. Okay, so we've matched into a Zeus. This is a little bit of a trickier matchup if they can get their taunt online and try and stop us from doing what we want to do. However, in terms of our starting hand, this is quite nice. We have the Cursed Hunters, we've got the Surtr, we'll mulligan the Thor, and we'll keep a hold of the Mayhem, I think. We actually got a second Mayhem out, which is pretty cool as well. We're going second this time, which means we can get that Surtr online this turn, should we want to, but currently we need to close the gap between the enemy and ourselves before we choose to do that. Another thing to be aware of is that, you know, these bushes we can utilize to kind of hide units, which stops the enemy Zeus from hitting them and dealing and removing them, which means that our Mayhem should be more beneficial. Fortunately for us, he's actually moved forward, and this is going to make our time, you know, just that little bit easier, because as he moves closer to us, we're actually in a good position to start causing him some trouble. He played the Sentry Ward, which took a card from our hand, not from our hand, sorry, from our deck. We're not really sure what that's going to be, but I don't think it's going to help him too much. What we're going to do here is we're going to put a Cursed Hunter here and here, and then we're going to move forward and we're going to hit Zeus in the face. Like I said, this is all about kind of rushing down your opponent. You can see that we drew a Fate, which is pretty nice, because if he does summon something, we can then play that to deal some damage. And on the next turn, provided he doesn't clear our units, what I will probably do is summon the Surtr and then play the Mayhem. That'll basically give us +1 and then also deal 4 damage with the Mayhem. Though I'd imagine that what he intends to do here is attack that ranged unit that's just kind of sitting there. Because, like, it's going to attack him anyway, is the thing. So he may as well clear it now while it doesn't benefit me. That would be the smart thing to do. You can see he's hovering his cards and maybe just deciding what he wants to do here. He can't target this unit because it's in a bush, which is why we put it there. And actually, he didn't play anything, which is massive for us, you guys. Because what this means that we can do is we can summon the Surtr, and we'll put that here so that it's harder for him to taunt it. Right? Then we play the Mayhem. Sorry, the Mana Potion, and then the Mayhem. And that does 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Then we can reposition this this Cursed Hunter. And what we could have done is put this Surtr here and move this one out to attack. But what we can actually do is just move this one over and then attack for 2 damage. And that's why he should have cleared the Cursed Hunter, you guys. We're going to leave this one in the bush for now because we have a second Mayhem in hand, which we may want to play on a subsequent turn. And we'll also attack him for 2 with our leader. So he's down to 9 health already, you guys. And you can see just how quickly you can start to remove health from the opponent should you need to. And you can see he's used both of his Sunders there to clear the Surtr. He doesn't want to have to deal with that. And that's smart. You know, Surtrs can be very impactful. On the flip side, you know, if he does summon something, we have Fate in hand, which we can use to deal 2 damage to him. We can permanently increase our base damage by 2, which is also pretty goddamn strong. And if we get some more units to summon, we've got, you know, Frenzy in hand. I think what we're going to do for now is play the Gungnir Smite, as you can see here, and then move towards the Odin. We're going to stand here in case he plays anything in the bush, and we can attack him. Now, we could play Mayhem, but it's only going to deal 2 damage, which isn't, you know, that useful. I mean, it'll get him down to 5 health, which is quite good. Similarly, we could play Fate, but we want him to spawn something before we play Fate. So we're just going to start moving our ranged unit. Although he's out of the bush, he's used both of his Sunders, so I'm not too worried for this guy. And we're trying to get him into position that he can attack with the Frenzy. The one problem with spawning them out the back is that they do have limited mobility, so getting them into position to utilize certain cards can be kind of tricky. And the thing is, if we do play the Frenzy, we're going to gain, what, +2 damage? So that'll put us on 4 damage with Odin. So, you know, we need to deal 3 damage outside of that. So we can actually, with the Mayhem and the Frenzy at the moment, more or less cause some trouble. I imagine I'm going to get feared here. Hades, on the turn that he's spawned, he can play his Fear. So that's what I imagine the opponent will do. That would be the smart thing to do, is fear the Odin such that I'm no longer next to the Zeus, which means I can't keep attacking him. And this is the place where the game will go one way or the other. Either Greek will gain control and we'll start to run out of cards, or, you know, we'll kill him. This is the kind of tipping point in the game. And we'll see what he does. I don't know why he's hovering his cards. He doesn't have any mana. I mean, maybe he hasn't realized that Hades has initiative and that he can fear on the turn that he's summoned. Oh, he hasn't! And that is massive for us, you guys. So we're going to Fate. And do 2 damage to the Hades and 2 damage to the Zeus. And then we're going to Fate. And deal 2 damage to the Hades and 2 damage to the Zeus. Then we're going to Mayhem and hope that it hits the Zeus. Which it did. We only needed it to hit the Zeus once. And then we're going to hit him in the face. And win the game. And that was a big misplay by Catlone. Our opposing Zeus. He should have feared the Odin. Because Hades can use his ability on the turn that he's summoned. And I see so many people don't utilize the initiative of gods, and that's a big thing to kind of learn as a new player is, you know, which gods have initiative and then to use that. Because the Hades, you know, I think he could have hit me. I was within range, yeah, so he should have just feared me. It would have caused me to run away and become rooted, which would have stopped me from being able to hit the Zeus in the face there and bought him more time. But yeah, that's the beginner Norse deck. As you can see, it's pretty goddamn effective. And if you're looking to improve this deck, options you have Skadi and Calder are kind of really big Norse options. I mean, alternatively, you know, you can look to add maybe Soul, but for me, I would say that Skadi and Calder are the ones that you want to kind of look to tech in there. And if you're wanting the deck to be more successful in the later game, I do see people run, like I say, Thor and then Loki, for example. But that's basically it for the beginner Norse deck. If you like this video, maybe hit that thumbs up button, guys. And if you enjoy the content that I do make, you can always subscribe to the channel. We'll have another tactics video for you guys on Friday. Current schedule is tactics videos go up on a Monday and a Friday, along with some Gwent content in between. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And if you want to catch me playing Tactics live, I have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Jaggerous, or you can follow me on Twitter. All the links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.